What's going on, everyone? This is Noah from Spanky the Sparky. I'm going to do a quick conduit bending video on how to match your kicks up in the air once they're bent. Sometimes when you look up in the air, you'll see like staggered kicks, so a kick might be here, the next one here, and so forth. I'm not a big fan of that. I like to match all my kick marks up in the air. I think it looks more professional when it's all said and done. I'm going to spare the time of bending the 90s, but I basically have a mark 6 inches off the end here, 8 inches right here. That's to ensure 2-inch spacing center to center, which would be typical for 3/4 EMT conduit, maybe 1 7/8. I like to do 2 inches, it's a little easier. But I'm going to not record this, but I'm going to bend 2 90s and then we'll get into the kicks. Alright, so we're back. I got the two 90s bent. This is a 12-inch 90, a 14-inch 90. I just added 2 inches because we've determined we want 2-inch spacing center to center. Something you can do, I like to do this, I'll take like a level or just a flat surface, kind of put it just like that to match up the ends. And if you want to see everything on the ground, you can kind of just adjust it from there. It looks like we need to scoop this just a tiny bit that way maybe. Let's get that 2 inches center to center, good enough for me. And then what we'll do, we'll actually come back here. This is just for visual purposes for this video. Hopefully it helps someone out there a little bit. Just like that, 2 inches center to center. The ends aren't matched. Things would be a little different if I already had preset measurements, which at the moment I don't. But as you can see, we have two 90s, 2 inches center to center. So this is where the kick part's going to come into play. So we can match our kicks. We'll take this, and let's say we need a, I don't know, let's go with a 5-inch kick, but we've also determined we want our first kick mark, let's say 8 inches off the back of the 90. So this is our smallest one. We have 2 inches center to center, which I showed you earlier. And we have determined we want our first kick mark at 8 inches off the back of this first 90. All we will need to do to ensure both of our kick marks match without doing anything different or making additional cuts or anything like that, we're going to add our center to center spacing of 2 inches to that first kick mark. So we said 8 inches off the back of that 90. All we're going to have to do is 10 inches right here. Set that up, mark 10. Next thing we'll do is actually kick it, so stay tuned. So what I like to do when I'm doing my kicks, I believe I've mentioned this in another video, at least on these Milwaukee tape measures, right here, as you can see, it's showing a 3 3/8. That's showing the distance from base to base. Since we want a 5-inch kick, we're going to take 3 3/8 into 5. That's going to be 1 5/8. So what I can actually do is pull this tape measure out to 1 5/8. Let's see, sorry. 1 5/8 is right there. Lock that into place. And now when I set this on the ground from the base to the top of this, we'll have 5 inches, which makes it very easy. So now we have everything we need to do to actually begin the bending of the kick. We have our mark off the back of our 90, which on this one's 8 inches. We have our level. If you're not doing your kicks with the level up here, don't even bother watching those videos. Those guys are clowns. And then we have our point of measurement to ensure our kick comes out to the size we need. For my kicks, I like to use the front of the shoe. So I line that up with the mark I made. I saw some videos here recently of some influencers doing their bends without a level up here. Once again, that just goes to show there's no skill. And yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. But what we're going to do, we're going to ensure this is level the entire time as we bend this up. We want the bottom of our conduit to the top of this to ensure 5 inches. Pretty straightforward. Once you have it level, you just start to bend it. Nice and slow gets the job done. I'm a commercial electrician, so I do a lot of conduit work. I like to ensure my conduit work looks good because at the end of the day, that's our work is basically our name in our industry. This is slowed down, of course, for instructional purposes. Everyone's going to move at different speeds, and that's fine. But as you can see, I have the bottom sitting right on top of our 5-inch mark, which we've determined from the base plus the extension of the tape measure. As you can see, it's perfectly level, 100% level. There's kick number 1 for you. And we're going to start the second one. Pretty straightforward. Okay, we're back. So this is the 14-inch 90, the first one I just set to the side. As you can tell, or as I said earlier, front of the shoe is what I used on the first one. That's what I'm going to do here. Match the front of the shoe up with that line. Get our tape measure set. And once again, I say this, but it's important. Have a level on this 90 to ensure you're level while you're kicking, or else it's going to come out all whopper-jawed, and you do not want that. Don't listen to anyone that's saying anything different. Slow and steady gets the job done, especially as you're learning. Speed will come, but do everything correctly the first times you're doing it, and you'll be perfectly fine. As you bend it up, you can move your tape measure if needed, and before you start bending again, make sure it's level. Slow and steady gets the job done. Once again, I'm moving slower for this video, just so people can watch, learn, hopefully, and be able to send that information over to someone else that needs it. But bend it up, set it down. We slightly overbent it that time. Take this out. It's just a tiny bit slightly overbent, and what I can do, there's a few ways you can do this. One, you can put it back in the bender reverse, but what I want to do, since it's such a small amount, I'm going to just add a little pressure, just like that, nothing too much. And once again, level, level, level. Not that complicated, saves a lot of time. And let's see, we're perfect right there. The bottom of our conduit goes to the top of this. Like I said, the level doesn't lie. Now, as you can see, I have this kind of laid on top just because it was flipping up, but I have 2 inches center to center from there all the way through here. Once again, what we would do at this point, there is math that you could predetermine how long the conduit needs to be, but at this point, I would simply just cut this difference off to match this up. That way up in the couplings, it all matches, of course. But this allows multiple things. One, up in the air, as you can see, the bends are in the exact same place, right? You don't want this bend, for instance, back here too far forward. You want everything to match up. It looks way more professional up in the air. It looks like you know what you're doing. Doesn't take any longer than staggering your bends. It's just that straightforward. The other thing I like to do, or what I would do, especially in like a panel room where everything's exposed, I would take the time to go back through, wipe off all marks or pencil marks. I would take all the stickers off, get all this goo off. You want everything to look nice, clean, professional, because at the end of the day, we are supposed to be professionals, or at least you should want to be. Hopefully this video helps what I'm talking about with the staggered look, though. I'm going to take this all off. So sometimes up in the air, I mean, this is going to kind of be janky just because the spacing and everything's already done. But sometimes, let's just do it like this, I guess. But you'll get the overall idea. Put this back on there. When you look up in the air in some kicks, you'll see them kind of like this. So earlier I showed you how they matched up. You'll have one kick back here, one up here. It just looks bad. It looks poor. It doesn't look like you know what you're doing, in my opinion. That might be harsh, but it kind of is what it is. Very straightforward, though. You get your 90s bent, bada bing, bada boom, whatever your spacing is, and then say, like we did on this one, it was 8 inches off the back of the 90. You're just going to add your center to center spacing as you go to the outside. That way, all your bends match up in the air. Everything looks nice, clean, and professional. Once again, hopefully this video helps. As I've said, I've had a lot of stuff going on in my personal life over the past couple of weeks and even months. If you have any questions, concerns, feel free to reach out, as always, and I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your day. Peace.